A secret Trump DOJ probe that looked at two House Democrats, their staffers, and even their family has alarm bells ringing in Washington tonight. Here's what we know. Under President Trump, the Justice Department seized data from dozens of accounts connected to Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee. We know Intel Chairman Adam Schiff and Congressman Eric Swalwell were notified their data was seized. And we know former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and Trump's Attorney General Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions as well, the former Attorney General, have told people that they're not aware of this. They deny that they knew the lawmakers were part of the dragnet. Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley is on the Intelligence Committee. He joins me now. Nice to see you, Congressman. First of all, can you update us with any new information? Have you learned anything else from Apple or from DOJ?
I think it's going to take a little while with Apple. I know the committee staff is asking them for clarification if anyone else was targeted from the committee or anyone else in Congress. So much of the rest of this is going to flow pretty quickly this week, given these circumstances. But I can't help but respond to the Attorney General's forgetting this. There's no way in the world something like this can happen without the Attorney General being involved or at least notified. It just defies belief that they would try to convince us otherwise, and that they would somehow forget that there was a subpoena on Congress. It just goes to further assault what's left of their integrity.
What would concern you more if they did know about it, they were aware of it, or this was happening under their watch and they didn't know about it?
It's a really good question, because it gets to a larger issue that I am very concerned about, and that is rogue actors potentially within the Justice Department, but who knows where else. If anyone thinks this is an isolated incident, they've forgotten issues like Mr. Barr interceding on sentencing cases and dismissing cases, and the president pressuring them on who to target. So if they have these things going on in justice, what else were they doing with the rest of the United States government, including the intelligence community? It's an area of concern.
And to be clear, there's a lot we don't know, but apparently this request was made in 2018 before Barr came to the Justice Department. But the New York Times is reporting that he then revived the investigation and brought in an outside prosecutor. Congressman, yesterday you told CNN, quote, "I assumed a hostile government would do something like this. I just didn't think it would be our own hostile government." As I mentioned, we still have a lot more to learn. If this was a case where DOJ was investigating someone else, say someone on a congressional committee, a staffer, a lower level staffer, and ensnared the congressman, does that assuage your concerns at all?
Look, you're right. We simply just don't know enough about what happened here or what happened elsewhere. But obviously this was a broad fishing expedition. One could easily take what took place here as an effort to silence or an effort to punish those two of their harshest critics in Congress. So I think that's the area of concern. Obviously, there's a clause in the Constitution that protects the speech of members of Congress. So this is an assault on the separation of powers in our country.
I just want to circle back what I asked you at the beginning about DOJ. Has DOJ been forthcoming with information, and are you disappointed that you learned about this, I'm assuming when the Times reported on it, and that you didn't learn about it from DOJ coming forward?
Well, I think it's time for the Department of Justice to come forward and brief all of Congress on everything they know. It's a good first step that the Inspector General is going to get involved, but that takes some time, and who knows what their scope is. I think it's up to Congress to be able to ask those questions and get a full picture of what we know right now. I get that we need the Inspector General as well. And I think the Attorney General has to recognize this isn't an isolated incident. This is a systemic abuse of power, as we've described before. He has to get a handle on that, because what appears to be the case is that there are aspects of the DOJ that have moral, ethical, and legal serious issues.
I just want to ask again, though, has DOJ, under Merrick Garland, has it been forthcoming with your committee with more information since these revelations broke in the New York Times?
Yeah, they broke, Thursday night? Not yet. We come back into session Monday. but it is a good point, and I do believe the Attorney General should brief all of Congress with all the details and all the information that he has at this point.
I want to ask you really quick, I want to contrast your view of this with Senator Chuck Grassley. He says investigations into members of Congress and staff are nothing new, especially for classified leaks. What do you say to that?
Yeah, he knows better. The vast majority of leaks, especially out of the intelligence world, have always come out of the White House. You know, just a wild coincidence that they targeted two of their most fierce critics. He knows exactly what this is. When it comes to subpoenas of members of Congress, this is an extremely rare bird. It's one thing if you're involved in a direct corruption probe. This is an entirely different matter. Remember the timing. This is in the middle of the Russian investigation, the beginnings of the impeachment investigation. There's no coincidence here.
When you say, really quick, when you say most of the leaks come out of the White House, what evidence do you have for that?
Oh, no, it's just a historical fact that most leaks that take place in government come out of the executive branch. It's not that there aren't any that don't come out of the congressional side, but the fact of the matter is most come out of the White House. And if you talk to those that have been involved in this, including those in the press, they seem to say they got most of their information. Most of the leaks came out of the White House. So the president was mad. Leaks have been happening since there's been information to leak, and the White House always refuses to point fingers at themselves.
Right, and as you know, the press doesn't talk about their sources, where they get the information from, but all of this certainly raises serious questions, and we hope to learn more. And Congressman Mike Quigley, I hope that you will continue to update us with any new information.
Guaranteed.
Thank you.